Hello, everyone out there. This is Tammy Williams with Things of Interest, and I have with me, I'm sure you know these faces by now, Deborah Thomas, Judge Deborah Thomas. Hello, and welcome back.
Thank you.
And Roderick Casey. Hello, Casey.
Hey.
Welcome back. I just called him Casey.
Thank
It's
you.
Roderick Casey, but he's Casey to me. We have some more interesting information to give you, and I'm going to let Judge Thomas open up and share with you the new form.
We're having another forum. This particular forum is going to be on firearm laws and safety.
Okay.
And when we talk about firearm laws, we're talking about everything from what is stand your ground, what is open carry,
Okay.
what is self-defense.
All right.
All right. If you have a CPL, a license, a permit to carry, there's laws that govern that.
Okay.
There's certain places you cannot carry your firearm unless you have a special designation.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the safety issues, and we're going to give out firearm locks.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to give out firearm safety locks. And we have an attorney that's going to be coming in to make the presentation. His name is Terry Johnson.
All right.
He also, Attorney Johnson, represents individuals who are applying to have perhaps their rights reinstated
Okay. Okay.
to carry a firearm. So if you have been convicted of a felony, depending upon the nature of the crime, you may not be able to carry a firearm for so many years.
Oh, is it for so many years? I thought it was indefinite.
Not always.
Okay.
It depends on the crime.
Well, okay.
Yeah, in
Good to
some
know.
of the crimes, your right to carry is reinstated automatically.
Okay. Okay.
On the vast majority, I'm going to say, you have to apply to your local gun board to have your rights reinstated,
Oh,
and he's going to talk about that process. And we hear from individuals, older people a lot of times, who are in their homes and they may be living alone, and they may have had a felony conviction 15, 20 years ago.
okay.
And they would like to have a firearm in their home. And so there's a process.
Yes.
There's a process. And so we're going to talk about that.
Uh-huh.
We're not advocating any position.
Okay.
Okay.
We're not advocating.
Just informing people.
Informing. I got a request to host a forum on this topic because there are, my hometown of Detroit, there have been several incidents this year where people have been in their home and they've had intruders.
Yes.
And there was a firearm used by the homeowner. And it's a traumatic experience for the individual, even if they're safe afterwards, but they still want to know what's the law. What's the law?
Because if they don't have a license to have the gun and they shoot somebody, even if they come into their home, they can still get in trouble. Is that correct?
It's not, if they're at their home, it's not so much whether, there's a couple of things. First of all of your firearms should be registered with your local police agency.
Yeah.
Now that is an issue. Now registering your firearm and having a license is actually two different things.
Yeah.
So you definitely, if it's not registered, that can create a problem. A lot of times the question becomes, was the intruder at the foot of the sidewalk? Was the intruder 1 foot in the door? All right, and how does that make a difference? And does it make a difference? Was the intruder, were they shot in the back? Or were they shot in the front?
Yeah.
And that can make a difference. So people need to know that. A lot of folks don't know that we actually have a stand your ground law here in Michigan. All right? But you need to know, what does that mean? What does that mean? We have, I see a lot of people coming through the courthouse carrying concealed weapon. And they don't have a permit.
Yeah.
And they say, well, I had it for protection.
Well, yeah.
Protection of fear or something is not a defense to carrying a concealed weapon.
Yeah. So if a person uses their concealed weapon, if they feel threatened and they shouldn't have it, they'll get in trouble because they have the gun.
They're going to have to establish some very important factors.
Okay.
All right? They're going to have to, and that's why we're having this forum, so that people will know the limitations, so that they won't find themselves in a situation. And we want people to understand the importance too of proper care of a firearm, proper storage of a firearm. We've had a number of babies who have gotten a gun,
Yes.
all right,
Yeah.
playing with a gun.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And so we want to inform people about proper storage of the firearm, why they should have a lock, and then some folks say, if I got a lock on the gun,
I can't get to
I
it.
can't get to
Right,
it. Well,
right.
then we want to encourage you to practice
Keep it high.
taking the lock off.
Okay.
So if you need it in a hurry,
Right.
okay, just like practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
You don't want to fire the thing,
Yeah.
all right? Don't know how to aim it, how to hold it.
Yeah.
Hit the wrong somebody.
But you get nervous when it's like the 10th hour. Somebody is making noise, and if you sleep, you wake up quickly, and
Which is
so,
why you need to have
Yeah.
practice at the range.
Yeah.
You need to have practice taking the safety lock off, because if you need to take it off in a hurry, you don't need to be running around trying to remember where you put the key.
Yes.
And then after you found the key, you don't need to be worried, okay, do I pull the thing this way? Do I push it that way? We encourage people to practice,
Yes.
to practice. And so you can gain some familiarity with the weapon if you're going to have one. That is
Yeah.
part of your responsibility.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited that there's hope for people that, felt that they weren't able to ever get a concealed weapon permit or to even purchase a gun. I know people that can't touch a gun. I mean, their fingerprint can't be caught on a gun. It's like, a cactus. If you walk by it, you feel like you might inadvertently put some of your DNA on it, or you can't talk over one. That's how nervous they get when they're around a gun.
And there is an offense that's known as felon in possession of a firearm.
That's okay.
And in some households, it's created some concern.
Okay.
Right.
Because what if the parent is a hunter?
Yeah.
All right, and a child of theirs who still resides with them may have a felony conviction. It doesn't have to be a violent offense; it can still be a felony.
Okay.
And the felon cannot be in possession of a firearm, and that can be things as far as just control or custody.
Okay.
So then the question becomes, well, can I keep my hunting
Yes. Yeah.
rifle, gun in the same house with my child, or do I have to choose between the two?
Yeah. Now,
And we're going to discuss that, and we're going to tell you things that you can do.
okay.
All
That's
right.
Great. But are the laws different for a rifle and a gun?
When it comes to felon in possession of a firearm, it's not limited to a handgun.
Okay.
And people need to know that.
Yes, they do. I didn't
People
know.
need to know that.
Yeah.
So so you have to be informed. This is what we want. We want informed
Yes.
gun owners.
Now,
Okay.
Roderick, what do you think about this form that they're going to be having?
Well, it's different.
Okay.
It's a very quality form because
Okay.
she's going to give us the insight on the laws of carrying weapons, of felony having possession of a firearm, because many of our children is getting out, and their parents, Michigan being Michigan, is a hunting state. Their parents, like she pointed out, has a question on that.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess we should tell folks where the form's going to be and when.
Yeah, sounds good. I have the information here. It's going to be at the same church, Brown Chapel AME Church, that you had the last forum.
Expungement. Yeah, we were there a couple weeks
Yes.
ago, and we had a wonderful turnout.
Overflow.
Good.
Yeah, so it's going to be at Brown
Overflow.
Chapel AME Church,
Yes.
and that is located at 1043 West Michigan Avenue in Ypsilanti. It's going to be on Thursday, June the 12th.
Yes.
Thursday, June the
And
12th.
Sheriff Jerry Clayton is going to be
Yes,
attending.
he is. The sheriff is going to talk about the issues from a law enforcement perspective.
Okay.
There are certain laws. People are not just making this stuff up.
Yes.
There are laws, but if you are stopped by the police and you have a license to carry, what are you supposed to do?
Show him immediately.
Oh.
Let him know immediately. Do you have to let him know you have the card, or if you have a gun with you?
Well, you should. My position is you should let them know you have the permit, because they're gonna find that out anyway.
Oh, yes.
Okay, because when they run that license, when they run your license, it's going to come up.
But they've
It's going to
never-
come up.
I've
And if
gotten
you
stopped.
have a gun, you most certainly
You
should
should
let them know that.
But I've gotten stopped like for like my tail light was out, and I have a concealed license, but they never mention it to me. I never tell them, but they never say anything. They treat me very well because you have to have a good record to get one.
Right,
You know,
that's true.
they do. They really do treat
That's
me
true.
well. But I never tell them that I have one, and they never say anything to me.
And I've only been stopped once, and I didn't say anything, mostly because I forgot.
Yeah, you don't think about that.
And I'm like, okay, what did I do? Tail light,
Yeah,
same
yeah,
situation.
tail light.
And the officer told me.
Yes.
And oh yeah, that's true. I do have one. I'm not carrying at the moment. All right.
Did he know you were a judge?
Yeah, he did know that, and I think that's why he inquired more so. Is
Do you
why he
carry your
inquired?
gun on the bench?
I'm not telling.
Okay. Acquiring mind,
We can.
Okay.
I'll let you know that.
You can. You
we
have that
can.
authority.
We
Good.
we have that. We have that
You
authority.
be slapping, don't you?
However, members of the public cannot bring a gun into the courthouse.
Yes.
That's one of the limitations.
Could you tell us some more places they can't bring guns to?
They cannot take them to schools. They cannot take them into churches.
Mm-hmm.
And now, there's certain groups that can make an application for special designation on the permit that will allow to carry in those areas. All right, but as a whole, that to go with the rule that you don't have the special designation. And so there are a number of places that you cannot carry a firearm, even if you have a permit. Also, we're going to let folks know that just because you have a permit in Michigan,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you can drive over to Illinois and they're going to recognize it.
Amen. Don't play, they don't play that either.
All right? A majority of the states will recognize Michigan's permit, but all of them don't. All of them don't.
All of them don't.
Okay.
So if you're a resident of Michigan and have one, some states will recognize that and give you the benefit of the doubt. Is that what you're saying?
Some of them will recognize that you have not instantly committed a criminal act
Okay.
in that state
Okay.
for having the firearm.
Yeah.
All right, but other states do not.
Okay.
And then there are people who don't want a permit to carry, don't need a permit to carry, maybe because of their nature of their occupation or what have you. But they might have one in the house, or they may want one in the house. There's a certain way that you have to carry the gun from the gun shop where you bought it to the house. If you are going for a practice, there's a certain way that you have to carry the gun from your house. If you don't have a permit, first of all, it has to be empty.
Is that if you don't have a permit?
If you do not have a
Okay,
permit, but
okay.
you're
'Cause I know
transporting.
people with permit, they have the little purses with the they have the novelty.
If you
paraphernalia.
have a permit, it's one thing. Everybody doesn't want to carry a firearm. There's some folks that say, okay, with my luck, somebody will take it from me.
Okay.
Right.
All right, and some folks are not comfortable around firearms.
Now, I don't know if maybe you don't want to talk about this, it's another subject, but what about the people that feel like they don't need a permit if they don't conceal it?
And that is part of the open carry
Yeah.
law.
Will you all be talking
We
about
will
that also?
definitely be talking about open carry.
Okay.
One of the things that happens when people will say, okay, I'm open carrying, I don't need the permit.
Yeah.
Then when they get pulled over by the police, they get nervous and they go to tuck the gun up under the seat of the car.
Yeah.
That's not open anymore.
Okay. Okay.
And we talk about the ramifications of that type of activity. There are people that will see folks perhaps walking down the street, open carrying, and they have questions as to whether or not can I call the police because I do not feel safe with this. Then there's some questions as to if you cannot go on school property with a permit.
Yes.
Okay, can you go open carry? Yeah, that's an interesting question, isn't it? You better get over to Brown Chapel
Yeah, I'll
AME
be there.
Church, all right? And that's going to be on June the 12th,
June the 12th.
Thursday, June the 12th at 6 o'clock p.m. At
Yes.
6 o'clock p.m. Because those are the types of questions that we're going to be answering. And since Brown Chapel AME Church is a church,
Yeah.
And a church is one of the places you cannot bring your firearm. Do not try to bring your firearm in the church.
Yeah, but don't let me go out to my car.
Now, the parking lot may be a different situation.
Don't make me mad. I go out to my car.
No, don't go out to the car either. This is an educational
Yeah,
forum.
absolutely. We
This
just
is
joking.
This is an educational forum. I don't know of a reason why you should have to bring your
no,
firearm
there
anywhere.
shouldn't be any reason.
I don't know of any reason.
Absolutely.
Any reason at all, because we are going to be talking about the law.
Yes, yes.
Now, you might want to bring pencil and paper.
Yeah.
Even though we are going to give you a packet, we're going to give you a packet that's going to outline what the laws are
Good.
in these various areas. We're going to give you a packet of the list of states that recognize Michigan automatically
Great.
if you have a permit. We're going to give you information on what you should say if you encounter the police. One of the things that are being pushed now very heavily is the concept of run, hide
Okay.
first if you can. All right?
What's that about?
That is about, a lot of folks have a firearm, but they don't really know what they're doing with it. Okay, they just have it. And authorities across the United States are teaching the final or last line of defense is the theory, the school, workplace, school situations, civilians, especially if you don't have a firearm. They're teaching us that you should run if you can, exit and leave danger behind.
I heard that. I agree with that.
Run first.
Yeah.
Hide. If you can't run and get away,
Yeah.
try to hide.
Yeah,
Go in the closet.
yeah.
Okay? If you can do that, lock the door. If somebody is in a school situation or if you're at a work site, try to hide. If you can hide, and if all else fails, if you think you can outfight them, go for what you know. Give it all you got.
Judge Thomas.
Even God said flee.
Okay.
God said flee.
Judge Thomas. Now I have a concern about political events. Sometimes they get a little hot, and we have some very important political people there, and I want to know the issue of people carrying firearms around our political leaders.
Well, political leaders don't get any additional status in terms of whether or not a person can have a firearm in their company or in their place.
Right.
Political leaders are people too.
No, but I mean like for as an event, okay? Like
I don't think it's going to be more. It will have more to do with the location of the event than who is at the event. Now, there are political leaders that are allotted additional security personnel. All right, and so they may have people who are with them, deputies who may accompany them, police officers, FBI, bodyguards, all of that. So assistants.
Okay.
Some people hire, go to private firms and actually will hire additional protection for their position. But as a matter of law, if you are a public officer, you have committed to serve the people.
Yeah.
Right.
So you should be willing to interact with the people.
I think Casey is saying that he considers them, should be protected because, they are of their importance. Is that what you were?
It's
yes,
not.
that's where
It's
something
not in.
important.
It's not in the benefit
Like Obama,
package.
he would have his
Okay.
security.
So
Well,
you
someone of that
I'm sure.
stature.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yes.
Well,
okay.
I'm thinking of Miss Griffith. That got shot. I believe was that in California?
Oh, the congresswoman. No, not necessarily.
Right.
No, not necessarily. The government can't afford to put 2 officers on everybody the people elect.
Right.
So not necessarily. I think when you start talking about someone with the stature and the importance of the president, that's
Right.
That's one thing. Some of your larger cities may provide protection for their mayors or what have you.
But they can carry their own protection if they feel they need to under.
They can
where
make
it's
an
at.
application just like everybody else. Follow the rules just like
Well,
everybody
I am
else.
so excited that you are educating people about firearms because, with the stand your ground laws and all these things, and there are people out there that don't feel like they can protect themselves because they have a felon or something. And I, grew up with strong role models that, patrolled the doors and patrolled the house. And I think that was one of my father's biggest fears was that somebody could come into his home. and you know, take over. And well, they did that with the Indians. I mean, it takes one vote majority to change the law.
Well, and this is true, but by the same token, there are some households are very proud of the fact
That they don't have.
never had a firearm,
Yeah, they are.
or I never had a firearm, and I have family members who have both experiences.
Yeah, but
30 before I got this job,
Yeah.
never had a firearm in the house, never did.
But you show out at Willie Mayberry's house, you know, you knew you get out of Dodge. You know what I mean? It was just, you know, he just didn't, but he never did. You know, he just that.
And
that
it's a
presence, but-
personal choice.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a personal choice. And sometimes people with information feel that they've made more informed choice.
Yes.
And
It's
now,
a
how
personal
about,
choice.
How about mental illness?
Oh, you have to
Yeah,
be
that's a good-
screened,
that's a
and
good
and
point.
that's a good issue as
point.
well.
Okay.
All right, you have to be screened if you're purchasing a firearm through legal means, and hopefully everybody is, because there is also a law against buying a gun without a license and not going through the process correctly, and so there. That is part of the screening process. That is part of the
Yeah.
screening
Well, what I'm
Now
process.
you
saying,
have to
suppose-
register. I'm sorry, Casey. You have to register a gun by law so many days after you purchase it.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, you have to register the firearm.
What I'm saying, say for instance, if someone had a mental challenge, then been to health system, then got help for it and everything, can they reapply for their license or whatever? If they've been cleared by a psychiatrist.
I'm not going to say that that's a clear-cut situation.
Right.
What I will say is you come and you ask that question to Attorney Terry Johnson, because that's an if you've been denied
Right.
a license to carry,
Correct.
or your rights to carry a firearm have been revoked,
Correct.
you have to make an application. You have to go before a duly appointed body, all right? And you have to satisfy and meet certain requirements in order to regain the right to carry a firearm.
Okay.
I didn't know
All
you
right.
could do that. I didn't know you could ever regain
Every
it.
county,
That's yeah.
every county has a board.
Okay.
All right, and you have to go before that county board. Now, I don't do that process.
Cool.
Okay, that's not my area of expertise.
Okay.
But Attorney Johnson has worked in that area, and he's gone before those boards, and so those are the type of questions that you can present to him.
Great.
All
Yeah,
right.
and we're not advocating anything. We're just gonna tell you what the law is.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
And
Well-
give you a safety lock.
Okay.
We're gonna do that too.
Okay.
Free?
Free.
Okay.
Free safety law.
Yeah. Now this
Okay.
is Tammy Williams. This is Things of Interest. We come on. This is our address: P.O. Box 980-581, Ypsilanti, Michigan. This is our telephone number, our email address. We come on Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. and Thursday at 3:30 p.m. on Comcast Cable Channel 17. My guest today is Judge Deborah Thomas and Roderick Casey, and we are talking about this forum, the firearms law and safety practices. Sheriff Jerry Clayton is going to be there Thursday, June the 12th of this year at 6 o'clock until 8 at Brown Chapel AME Church, and that's in Ypsilanti, 1043 West Michigan Avenue. Now tell me, is, people should get there on time. I mean,
Yes.
the information, you're not going to keep on repeating it for the people that come in late.
We start
And-
on time.
Okay.
I'm a real stickler about time. We start on time. We're not advocating anything, so we're not gonna have a whole lot of speeches.
Okay.
This is an educational forum. We're gonna talk to you about what the law is. We're gonna give you some information on safety tips.
Great.
We're gonna allow for an opportunity for some questions and answers at
Okay.
the end. We're gonna start at 6. We're gonna be out of there by 8 o'clock. And I'm a teacher. Okay, that's what I started. I started in the classroom, and I think education is a must and a
Yes, it is,
plus.
it is.
Yes.
And you being a teacher and African American female, sharing with your community, it's special, and people need to realize that and take advantage of it.
And all of it's free. It's free.
Yeah.
The attorneys that are coming, all right, who are going to provide this information, they're volunteering their time. The handouts, we're giving it away.
Yes.
It's all free. We just want responsible
Yes.
gun ownership.
Yeah, we joked about it a little bit, but absolutely, you want responsible people. It's very serious
It's
issue.
very serious.
But it needs to be talked about. People need to know what the laws are and be comfortable with the laws. And everybody has a right to choose whether they want to bear arms or not. And hopefully they can get their personal business in order and be able to. If there's
Make
any
the
problems.
choice.
Yeah.
Make the choice. But if you are going to choose,
Right.
for whatever reason,
Yeah.
but if you are going to choose, make the choice responsibly, have the firearm responsibly, make sure that you know how to maintain it, how to store it, how to keep it away from children, how to keep it away from other individuals who don't have any business
Yeah.
with it,
Yeah.
all right? How to carry, where not to carry, the whole 9 yards.
It's always like we look at cinema and television. I mean, somebody that keeps their gun in the drawer and somebody just accidentally opens the drawer and see their gun, and all of a sudden they have a weapon to do something irresponsible.
And it's the owner of the
You know,
firearm
yeah.
who is ultimately responsible.
Yeah.
So act, and we want to give you the information you need.
Yes.
If this is what you choose to do,
Correct.
that you can be responsible in that behavior. And that's what it's all about.
Well, that's great. The form that you had last week on the expungement
Yes.
issue, I was there. It was a great form, and a lot of people got the information they needed. didn't
We
they?
had close to 200 people who turned out.
And there's still people.
Yeah, I
still
understand the
calling
pastors
us.
calling, or say that the people are calling the church.
That's great.
They want us to come back and do it again.
Great.
I've committed that prayer in October.
Okay.
Now, I know that's a stretch out.
Well, it's coming quick.
But we're going to select a date in October. We're going to come back. I'm doing the forums in other cities.
Good. Okay.
We'll be having them in Detroit. We'll be having them in Battle Creek. We'll be doing them. So if we will try to get the information. So if people can and want to travel, as far as Detroit or perhaps Battle Creek, and they want to attend, we're going to let that information be available.
Okay.
So this is just in case, if they miss the one in Ypsilanti, they can catch like another education form and expungement in another city.
In another city. We will, before October. Now, we're going to come back in October.
In October.
But if you want to get started before then, Casey, I'll get the dates to you, Tammy. I'll get
Yes,
the dates to
please
you.
do.
So that if people want to go to some of these other locations, they're welcome to do so. As a matter of fact,
Uh-huh.
we are doing an expungement form in Detroit this coming Saturday, which is the 7th,
Oh,
at Northwestern High School.
Now this show won't air until after the 7th.
Till after the 7th? Okay, well, we tried.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
We tried.
Yeah. Well, this episode will air, if I'm correct, the 9th,
All right.
and so.
All right.
that's
Which is
unfortunate.
fine for those who are going to join us on
Yes.
Thursday the 12th.
Yes. Yes.
On
yes.
Thursday the 12th to get this information.
Yes, and is there? I don't have the web information up, but I guess if somebody Googled you and got your web page, or just
I
is
don't know.
there anything out?
I don't.
Or Casey?
We've got the flyers. You distribute the
Yes, the
flyers.
Okay. Well, you can
As
give
well-
us you have our information if you have any questions, and we will do our best to answer them. And so we're going to be signing off soon. Would you like to say anything before we do?
I want to give them the time, the date, and the address again.
Okay.
All right.
No problem.
The Firearms Law and Safety Practices Forum is going to be held Thursday, June 12th. It will begin at 6:00 p.m. at Brown Chapel AME Church,
Okay.
located at 1043 West Michigan Avenue. Attorney Terry Johnson is going to provide information. Sheriff Jerry Clayton is going to provide information, and we're going to provide safety lines.
Okay,
Free
sounds
safety
good.
lines.
Roderick, this is also sponsored by what? The Public Action Committee for Justice?
That's right. Thank
All
you.
right, y'all doing a great job. Remember
you.
that this is sponsored by the Public Action Committee for Justice, and that's the organization that Roderick Casey is, what are you?
Chair.
Chair. See, I wanted him to
Grace
say that.
God.
I knew
Grace
that.
God.
I wanted him
Chair.
to say that. Yeah,
Well, it's
so
to educate
these people
the
are
community.
doing it. I appreciate you all so. I appreciate you, and I consider it an honor to be sitting up here with you.
Well, thank
We
you.
appreciate you
Thank
too,
you.
Tammy.
Well, thank you. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Hey, and that's a wrap.